Dodie Horton, state representative from the beautiful town of Haughton, Louisiana. Hey, Miss Dodie, welcome back to KEEL. How you doing?
Doing great. How are two of my favorite people doing this morning?
Well, it's interesting you mention that because
I'm angry.
I am calling upon you this morning. Not so much in your capacity as a state representative, maybe more along the lines as a mom,
therapist,
as a consoler, as a therapist, as a woman of some experience, because we need you to talk Erin off the ledge, because when she saw the story that Louisiana has a $300 million budget surplus after all the dire warnings.
Dodie, I'm about to go crazy.
No LSU football after all.
You're feeling my pain.
Yeah.
After all the dire warnings of disaster
Doom and gloom
by the governor, suddenly we've got $300 million extra.
Dodie, how does that happen?
Well, because we didn't need the money in the first place. We knew that we would be what our state would be collecting would be increasing. And as far as I know, we haven't even started collecting the sales tax from remote dealers, internet dealers, that we will be collecting. And so I knew I stood on solid ground along with my other conservative colleagues that we did not need that extra revenue. We need budget reform. We need Medicaid reform. But we certainly didn't need to tax the hardworking citizens of Louisiana further. And so I knew the surplus would be there because the governor needs to be able to fund his pet projects.
Pardon me, Miss Dodie. I don't get me wrong. I agree 100% with everything you're saying. But you're not helping calm Erin down.
No.
Well, I feel the same way Erin does. You know, if I thought we had needed the money, I'd come back to District 9 and tell them so. But I know that we don't, and we didn't. And we just needed to live within our means, and knew the money would come in through oil and gas revenue, and different, and different other different things. I'm sorry, I don't have my paperwork in front of me. I'm in Baton Rouge.
Dodie, let me
but
just.
It just blows my mind that people knew it and still voted to keep part of that penny.
And here's the other part of this equation people don't realize. Robert may not even realize this. Under Louisiana's Constitution, any surplus money we find can only be spent on one-time expenses, debt payments, construction, and put it in your rainy day fund. We can't use it for teacher pay raises. We can't roll that sales tax off the books. So it's frustrating for me to think we raised all these taxes and now you can't even roll them back.
Well, but since you can use it on one-time expenditures, then you can take the money you were going to use for those payments and put it elsewhere. I mean, there
are ways around it.
Can we, because we have the surplus, file a bill to take that portion of the penny back and to drop it off the books? We can. And you'll see bills filed to do just that.
Miss Dodie, going back to that, God, it seemed like a budget fight of a year or more. Going back to all the times, and I called you guys on the air, and with love and respect, you and Alan Seabaugh and Raymond Cruz, I said, my trinity of no. The folks who stood up, the three of you from this area that stood up at every juncture, every time, and said, no, we don't need the money. It's a tax raise. It's a ploy. The threats are nothing more than it's paper tigers, if you will. Does being able to say I told you so give you any satisfaction at all?
It really doesn't, because it really breaks my heart for the people to be burdened unnecessarily in Louisiana. It breaks my heart that we have all this money coming in with hundreds of tens of thousands of children still going hungry because we can't have any accountability with the programs. It breaks my heart for all the money that we waste with an inadequate service delivery model for the Department of Health. And so it validates the fact that we knew we stood on solid ground when we said no more. We want a new Louisiana. I'm
thinking back to that moment for all bluntly put, all the insults that you and Alan and Raymond took. Specifically, I think back to Karen Carter Peterson being profane. Basically, I mean, that insult was based on nothing more than your strong fiscal conservatism.
Well, I'm thankful that we were right. I really am thankful that people can see that we're not obstructionists. That, like the chief of staff accuses me of coming of just saying no and bringing nothing to the table. And so the best thing I can do for my district is to say no. And they stand behind me and saying, don't give them one more penny, one more dime of our money if it's not needed. And so we bring a lot to the table. It's just the door slammed on the ideas that we have. But we're going to file bills anyway. We're getting organized, and hopefully we'll be able to come together on some major issues in this fiscal session.
Dodie, talking to State Representative Dodie Horton, the governor's spokesman has now confirmed Louisiana has a surplus, but the exact amount won't be determined until mid-October. They say it is premature for the state treasurer or anyone to discuss the figures. Your response to that?
Well, if my state treasurer can't respond to the money that he has been given, our Department of Revenue collects it and then, spreads it out appropriately. If my treasurer, who has the utmost integrity, doesn't know the figure that we have, then I worry. And does he have the right to speak about it? Absolutely. He was elected by the people to be the keeper of the Treasury. And so if John Schroder says we have $300+ million, we have it. But it's funny, whenever they had the joint legislative budget committee, the administration gave them a printout, and Erin, I'll email it to you, and it shows that the administration is saying we have close to a $300 million deficit.
Dodie, one more thing before we let you go.
That blew my mind.
One more thing before we let you go, our last minute, 30 seconds or so. Suspicious of the governor promising this teacher pay raise? What are we, coming into an election year?
Yes, absolutely.
Very
absolutely.
Suspicious.
And do we not want our teachers with boots on the ground in a classroom to get a raise? Absolutely. Absolutely do, but not if it means raising taxes again. And so we do want to rescind that part of the penny that was placed on our citizens. And if we could have budget reform, we definitely can give our teacher a pay raise. So I'm looking forward to the debate.